Hillary here for Waterlogged on behalf of saltwateraquarium.com. Have you ever been taking care of your aquarium and thought to yourself, man, I wish I could get paid for this? Well, this video is going to be all about the different career paths that you can take that utilize your skills as an aquarist. Maybe you already have a career and you're tired of your job, you are wanting to change jobs, or if you're just getting into things and you're doing this is a hobby and maybe you want to make this your life's goal. These are some different options that you have. Now, if this is something that you've been thinking about, there is no better time than now to get into this. Over the last few years, a lot of people have left the industry, a lot of people have retired early, and as a result, there's a ton of job openings all across the board. I always see postings of aquariums that are looking to hire people, local fish stores that are trying to find people. So now is the time. Go ahead and get those resumes ready. All right, I'm going to give you 5 different options that you can try that will utilize your skills as an aquarist. So let's go ahead and get started. First thing you can do is get a job as an aquatic veterinarian. Now, there's not a lot of aquatic vets out there. There are a few, and they typically tend to specialize in koi, but I don't see a lot of them out there that specialize in tropical ornamental species like us saltwater aquarium keepers usually have in our tanks. Now, obviously, this path is way more involved. You're going to need to go to vet school for it. But if this is something that you're interested in, there is a veterinarian in California. Her name is Dr. Jessie Sanders. She has a ton of resources on her website that tells you about the process she took to get her degree and different steps you need to take and things you should consider if this is a path that you want to go down. So if you have questions about that, check out the link in the video or send me a message. I'm happy to give you some more information and point you in the right direction. Okay, the second option that you have when it comes to utilizing your skill set as an aquarium hobbyist is working at a local fish store. Or if you're really ambitious, you can even open up your own local fish store or online seller. Now, if you enjoy taking care of fish tanks in the day in, day out, all of the work and the maintenance and the feeding, maybe this is for you. If you love talking to people and explaining different assets that you need to have a good, well-running tank or helping to troubleshoot problems that people might have, this might be something that you should look into. Now, okay, the third thing that you can do, and this is something that you might have not thought of before, is working in aquaculture. Yes, aquaculture systems are significantly larger than any of the systems we are typically keeping at our houses, but it's a lot of the same basic concepts that you are going to be using. Now, one thing I will say, if you are not comfortable with the thought of growing fish to be fed, well, not I say fish, but it could be shellfish, any number of species. If you're growing them for food, if that makes you nervous, maybe steer clear of this. But if that interests you, it is a really interesting path that you can take. Now, if you want to learn more about this, you should go to the World Aquaculture Society. They have meetings every year. They're in different places around the world, and you can even find regional meetings outside of those big conferences. So definitely see if you can't go to attend one of those conferences, learn more about all the different options of aquaculture, and do some networking. All right, number 4 is working at a public aquarium. Now, this is kind of one of the paths that I took, and you might be saying, well, Hillary, they like to see that you've had experience working in a public aquarium. How do I get that? Well, right now, because they're so hard pressed to find people to work in the aquariums, they're loosening their requirements a little bit. So if you can go into an interview at a public aquarium and show them that you have experience, that you know what you're doing, taking care of your tanks at home, you understand the basics of water chemistry, you can do plumbing, you can do maintenance on your equipment, animal husbandry, you know about good feeding, a lot of these things that we do on a daily basis when we're taking care of our tanks, we kind of take for granted and we don't realize that we know. So think about public aquariums, all of that is just scaled up. So it's a bit bigger of systems and different species of fish, but you probably have a lot of the basic information you need. And if they are willing to work with you, a lot of times they will train you to help teach you what you don't know. All right, the 5th thing on my list that you can do career-wise that utilizes your skills as an aquarium hobbyist is research, right? So with warming ocean temperatures and climate change, our coral reefs around the world are suffering, and scientists and researchers behind the scenes are trying to keep up and trying to learn and help protect them so they're going to be around in the long run. And with that, they need people to study the corals, to learn about the diseases that are impacting these corals, and to go out and help plant them. So if that's something that you're interested in, if you really are more into the coral side of aquarium keeping, then maybe consider going into research. Now there's a bunch of different organizations out there that are doing coral restoration, so just do a quick Google search or send me a message. I'm happy to point you in the right direction. Okay, those are 5 different ones that you can use your skill sets for, but one thing I would recommend, especially if you're interested in working in a public aquarium, if you want to do that research, and maybe even in the realm of aquaculture, you probably want to look into getting your open water scuba certification. Especially for a public aquarium, that's typically a must. So if you can get your open water certification, that's great. If you really love scuba, I would recommend going all the way up to advanced diver and even rescue diver. A lot of times when they see that on resumes, they really like that, and they know that you are really competent in the water and even good helping other people if there's an emergency. All right, hopefully you have enjoyed this. I'm curious, are you already in the field? Have you taken your aquarium hobby to a career level, or you're just looking to take it to a career level? Let me know, leave a comment below. As always, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. You can send a message in the comments below, or I'm always on Instagram at waterlogged1313. This has been Hillary for Waterlogged on behalf of saltwateraquarium.com. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.